With 78 organs, 206 bones, over 600 muscles, and roughly 30 trillion cells, there's a lot to know about your body. On the surface, it can be as simple as our hearts pumping blood and our brains pumping information. But if you delve a little deeper, you'll see that our bodies are performing a ton of day-to-day tasks that go completely unnoticed. That, plus our surroundings and microscopic things like bacteria and mites, add to this overall recipe of what makes you. Luckily for us, scientists like anatomists and psychologists have made it their life's work to study the structure and function of your body. And they have discovered some strange things. Here are the 10 strangest things you never knew about your body. Half of your hand strength comes from your pinky. Yep, you heard that right. Because many things you do, like writing, eating, and picking up small objects, don't involve the pinky, it's easy to take your smallest finger for granted. But many experts have concluded that your 3 largest fingers, the thumb, index, and middle fingers, are meant to provide dexterity for those day-to-day tasks, while the ring and pinky finger act as the power of your hand. Although the pinky itself is quite small, muscles and tendons like the extensor carpi ulnaris tendon run along the back of the forearm and attach to the pinky. You can feel this while gripping your grocery bags or gripping something intensely like a hammer or baseball bat. A 2010 study from the University of Western Ontario found that losing your pinky on the dominant hand can be detrimental and actually weaken your grip strength by 50%. Your brain is a supercomputer. Research suggests that your brain consists of about 86 billion neurons. Each neuron forms connections to other neurons, which could add up to 1 quadrillion connections. This makes for a ton of functions and memories. Like computers, your brain's memory storage is measured in bits, and neurologists have found that it can hold up to roughly 2.5 petabytes or about 2.5 million gigabytes. This is equivalent to storing 3 million hours of TV episodes. That could take over 300 years to play back to back. Unlike a computer, your brain's storage capacity isn't limited because new memories replace old ones through learning and forming new neural connections. On top of memory, it's difficult to quantify the exact amount of information in the brain because it also contains basic functions like how you speak and move, and higher order functions like how you feel and express emotions. Your sneeze can cause hurricane-force winds. Your sneeze is actually an involuntary reaction prompted by pain receptors. We might think that it's caused by the nose, but it's actually a coordinated effort between multiple parts of the body. When the lining of your nostrils senses an irritant, your lungs, muscles, bones, and nervous system work to expel a potentially dangerous substance. All of them working together gives your sneeze the power to shoot a wind of up to 100 miles per hour. The Saffir-Simpson Hurricane Wind Scale was developed in 1971 to help the public and government officials understand the potential risks of approaching hurricanes and the damage that they could cause. It rates hurricanes on a scale from 1 to 5, based on the hurricane's maximum sustained wind speed. On this scale, the wind caused by your sneeze would fall under a Category 2 hurricane, which would cause some serious damage. Your heartbeat syncs up with your music's beat. You wouldn't notice multiple changes in your heart's rhythm by simply changing stations on the radio. But when you're actually moved by a song that you're completely immersed in, your heartbeat can actually sync up to the song's rhythm. Metal and dance can obviously increase your heart rate significantly, and slower music reduces stress and anxiety by lowering your heart rate and blood pressure. This phenomenon is called physiological synchrony, and it can also include other bodily responses like breathing and movement. A 2009 study found that young people's cardiovascular and respiratory responses were particularly synchronized during a vocal solo in the opera song Nessun Dorma. Another study found that audiences at classical concerts were more likely to synchronize their heartbeats if they had agreeable or more empathetic personalities. You produce and swallow roughly 1.5 liters of phlegm per day. Yeah, sorry, this one's kind of a gross one. Phlegm is the mucus secretion of your respiratory passages. Hair-like structures called cilia move the phlegm up from your lungs to your throat, where it triggers your swallow reflex. As gross as phlegm is, it's very important for cleaning dust and other foreign bodies out of your lungs. They're brought up to the mouth because the lungs don't have anything to destroy them, but the stomach does. Whatever we don't spit out is swallowed and destroyed by powerful stomach acids and enzymes. When you're healthy, your phlegm is thin and clear, so you'd hardly ever notice swallowing 1.5 liters of it every day. It's only more noticeable when you have a cold or respiratory infection, since it becomes, nastier. This is caused by trapped particles, bacteria, viruses, white blood cells, and antibodies. We are the only mammals on planet with a chin. You like that? You might think you were scratching your dog or cat's chin, but really you were scratching their mandible, which is the lower part of their jaw. You have one of these too, but we humans are the only animals with an extra lump of bone on our mandible called the mental protuberance. Even our closest extinct relatives like the Neanderthals and Homo erectus did not have chins. Because of this, you might think that the chin serves some sort of evolutionary purpose, like our opposable thumbs, but scientists have yet to discover one. Theories like helping us chew and helping us talk have been debunked, and other than the possibility of helping us take a punch, many experts believe that it might just be a byproduct of evolution. Because as our jaws evolved to be thinner, the mandible bone has possibly pushed forward symmetrically. All humans are 99.9% identical. Each human cell contains about 3 billion DNA base pairs, and only a handful make up our differences like shape, size, and facial features. All of our differences are found in 0.1% of our DNA. Craig Venter, president of Celera Genomics, said that since every human on Earth shares 99.9% of our DNA, we are all essentially identical twins. On a DNA level, race and skin color aren't even distinguishable. A news headline about the Human Genome Project once asked, "Are we all one race?" Because there are no biological features that are present in one race and not in others. Even more shocking is that since all mammals, including ourselves, are descended from one ancestral mammal that lived about 100 million years ago, we share roughly 90% of our DNA with mice, dogs, cattle, and elephants. When it comes to your closest relatives, you actually share 98% of your DNA with chimpanzees. Your cornea is the only part of your body with no blood supply. Your cornea is the clear outermost layer of the eye that covers the iris and pupil, which allows light to enter your eye and help it focus. Strangely enough, out of every single body part that you have, it's the only one that doesn't get its supply of oxygen and nutrients from your blood. In a process called corneal angiogenic privilege, it gets what it needs from two places. It gets oxygen straight from the air and by absorbing some of our tears. A fluid called aqueous humor fills the chamber behind the cornea, which supplies nutrients like amino acids, glucose, and vitamin C. If you're wondering why the cornea is so different, it's because this helps you see better. The presence of blood vessels can cloud the cornea, making it difficult to refract light, so its transparency is essential for the clearest possible vision. Gravity affects your height. Since the force of gravity pulls your body down towards the ground, it slowly compresses your vertebrae and the cartilage in your knees, which actually makes you slightly shorter by the end of the day. From morning to night, you can lose roughly 1/4 to 1/2 inch of your height, but return to your normal height when you sleep horizontally in bed. Gravity has this effect on you throughout the universe. Astronauts have grown up to 2 inches taller while on the International Space Station because of a lack of gravity that allows their spines to stretch. And if you were born on planets with lower gravity, like say Mars, you would grow taller than you would on Earth because your spine would be able to elongate. We get a completely new skeleton every 10 years. The bones you're using right now are not the bones you were born with. They aren't even the bones you had when you were 10 years younger. Your skeleton is slowly but continuously regenerating itself through a process called remodeling, which completes a full bone replacement cycle every 10 years. In some cases, it can replace about 20% of your bone tissue in a single year. That seems like a lot, but it happens gradually enough throughout your entire body that you'd never be able to sense it. Your body does this to keep your skeletal structure strong, and it happens through your entire life, but slows down as you age. The whole removal-replacement balance gets shoddier when you're older, which can lead to bone weakening and osteoporosis. You can actually help avoid this with plenty of calcium and phosphate. But that's all for this time. If you guys enjoyed this one, please give it a like and leave a comment, and of course share it if you really enjoyed it, and be sure to follow me on Twitch and all the other socials, which are in the description in all of the links that you can click. And that's it. I'll see you guys next time.